everybody. Pastor Sherman D. Manning joining you live from Los Angeles, California. This is the day which the Lord hath made. I shall rejoice and be glad in it. I thank God for each of you, all of the members of Yes We Can Worship Center. Please be advised and be aware and cognizant of the fact that I keep you covered in prayer on a daily basis. I'm praying for Brother Claude Taylor, praying for Pamela Barclay, whom we haven't seen in a while and we're looking for her. I'm praying for Brother Mike Camper, Brother Luis Salgado, as well as Luis Salgado Sr. I'm praying for Brother Jorge Gandaria, for Brother Freddie, Brother Evangelist Keith Green, and all of the members, as well as friends and visitors of Yes We Can Worship Center, Sonovia, Sister Shirley Martin, Mother Fleming, Mother Williams, all of you. I pray for you day and night. We know that the prayers of the righteous man availeth much. We know that much prayer means you have much power. Little prayer means you have little power. And no prayer means you don't have any power. So we want to have much power, so we engage in much prayer. We engage in spiritual warfare because we know that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. And there's a war going on, and we don't want to lose this war. I want to thank every member of Yes We Can Worship Center for participating in our financial emergency, so to speak. Thanks to your generous contributions, and I gave $100 in the service last night, and after the service was over, I found out one of my members did give $250, so I turned around and gave another $160, so I gave $260. I'm not competing, and if anybody wants to compete with me in giving, great. That's a good competition right there, because we're giving unto the house of the Lord. But I just sort of felt awkward. I didn't want to allow my members to outgive me when this is a vision that God has given me for this church, and I know that the money is changing lives. So I gave $260, and one of my members gave $250. One gave $190, so forth and so on. And I thank God. Please understand, one of the things I don't like doing, just to be quite frank with you, is asking for money. You know, I just don't like it. Don't like it because I've been in a lot of situations where people have been perceived as crooks, and all they did was want money to do this, that, and the other. But you know, I will tell you the truth. It's hard when you're on the outside looking in to understand how necessary money is when you're trying to do anything for people. And now as pastor, I see, baby, you can't feed hungry people without money. You can't clothe the naked without money. You can't. I spend $50 per day. This is going to sound crazy, in gasoline, because I travel so much and I'm trying to reach so many people. $50 per day in gasoline. And quite frankly, by and large, everything I have been doing for Yes We Can Worship Center, I've been doing out of my pocket. Some people think that I'm independently wealthy. They're wrong. I'm not. I'm blessed, and God continues to provide for every need that I have, but it's time for the church to step up. So you're not going to get letters from me every day begging you for money for the church, this, that, and the other. That's just not going to happen. But when the church has a need, I'm going to tell you about that need, and when we meet those needs, I'm going to be more than happy to tell you that those needs have been met. So we're out of the immediate financial crisis. We have secured our building for 3 months. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. And now we've secured the building for 3 months. We don't have to worry about losing it or it being rented out to someone else or anything like that. That has been done. Thank you. Thank you to everybody. Brother Jorge, thank you. Brother Luis Salgado, thank you. All you others, Shirley Martin, thank you. Everybody who contributed. But I want you to understand the dynamics of Yes We Can Worship Center. This is a new church. This is a baby church. And we're growing. We had 2 new members of join last night. We're glad about that. Let's give God a hand clap for that. But first and foremost, as I tell my members, my soldiers, my young soldiers like Luis and Jorge, this is not a numbers game. I'm not worried about numbers right now. I'm worried about strong people. I ask God to send me some strong men and strong women, and He is doing just that. I'd rather have 10 strong people than to have 100 lukewarm, weak, half show up type people. I can't come because I don't have a car, that kind of person. See, if you are committed to the mission, if you're committed to feeding hungry people, if you're committed to clothing naked people, if you're committed to your church, you'll say, Lord, I hope I can get the car. But you know what? If I can't get it, I'll come on the bus. And you'll know that your pastor's going to make sure you get back home either way. I'm not going to have you in the middle of the night on the bus. And if I have to go on the bus, I'll take God with me. Come on, somebody. We say we love God and we trust Him and all of that. Do you really think God can't trust you, can't take care of you on a bus ride? So now we prefer you not be on the bus. But I'm simply saying if push comes to shove, if you're committed to something, you're just committed. And thank God my people are getting that way. Luis is getting that way. Jorge is that way. I can call Jorge at 2 o'clock in the morning and he'll come. And I'm not comparing him to anybody because there's only one Jorge. There's only one Pam. There's only one Luis. And there's only one Sherman. We're all different and we're not the same. We don't have the same gifts and the same callings. But we can learn to be committed. And so that is what God is doing through us. But I just wanted to say that in the beginning of a ministry such as this, and we're still in the beginning, the strain is more than in other churches because a lot of churches are not doing what we do. They don't feed the hungry. They don't clothe the naked. They don't give away money. I give away money that people don't even know about. And I don't, if some of my members knew how much of my own personal money I give away on a daily basis. Last night we had service. We had a great time. The Lord bless. We had a nice crowd for Yes We Can. It is growing. But at the end of the service, 3 people came to me needing money. And the bottom line is, I'm sorry, when you need money from me, I'm going to give it to you. Money is nothing to me. Money is nothing. Some people hold on to it forever. They die so their family can fight over them. You dead and in the grave. Bodies in heaven or in hell, wherever that person went to, and their family members are still fighting over a few $1,000s that they left. I told my parents, spend it all, baby. Before you go, spend it all. It's good to save for a rainy day. It's good to have a nest egg and all of that, but at the end of the day, it's nothing but money, baby. And my Bible tells me that if I give it unto the house of God, He is duty bound. He is duty bound to bless me, to bless my hands, to bless my household, to bless my family. He said, I will command a blessing to fall in your life. Read Malachi. He talks about that in Malachi 3. If you will give tithes and offerings unto the Lord, He will. And see, some people worry about what is the church doing with it. Well, I want the church to do the right thing with it. And if I'm going to be a part of it, it's going to do the right thing with it. But I tell people at the end of the day, don't even worry about it. I'm talking about not Yes We Can members, but other folk who will come to me and say, I'm not really sure the money at their church, whatever it is going where it's supposed to. I said, don't even worry about that, baby. God is looking at you. If some preacher, some church, some group of deacons are stupid enough to scam the money of God, God is going to punish them. You ain't got to worry about that. If you do your part, baby girl, you do your part, God is going to bless you for your obedience. He's not blessing you because somebody else tricked the money or scammed the money. That's not what He's blessing you for. He's not blessing you for what they did or did not do with it. He's blessing you because you obeyed Him. He says, I will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out blessings that you will not have room enough to receive. So what I don't say to my people is, we did it. And so now if you want to come next Friday and don't bring but $30 or $40 to the offering, that's fine. If you want to only bring 10 or 20, that's fine. I told my people, this is not a concert. You don't have to pay a certain amount to come to the church. I had people last night who didn't put a dime in the plate. I had people in the church last night who put 1 penny into the offering, and I love them just as much as I love the person who gave $2.50. I love them just as much as I love the person who gave $190. I love all of God's children. If you got it, you got it. If you don't have it, you don't have it. But I'm not going to be running around every week begging my people to bring money. But when we have a need, I'm going to tell you about it. And I'll tell you there are 2 major things I want to do. I want to buy a van for the church. A van for the church. And hopefully someone like Brother Luis or someone like Brother Keith Green can drive that van so that Mother Fleming doesn't have to drive the church at night, Mother Williams doesn't have to walk to church at night, and maybe Luis could hold on to it and drive it, whoever. But I want a van for the church. We can get a small van for $4,000 or $5,000. I'm praying that somebody would just bring that money and just put it into our hands so that we can do that. And we're going to get the keyboard very soon for the church. We need that to enhance the service. It'll bring more young people in. Young folk, when they hear the music, baby, they will come. And so I'm praying on that. I'm not going to be writing emails begging people for that. Listen, if you got it, baby, just come on. Just walk up to the pastor and say, Pastor, here you go. God told me to give you this. God told me to give you this. And if it's $1,000, guess what I'm going to do with that $1,000? I'm going to leave the service on that Saturday morning. I'm going to go get the church what it needs. And if it's enough to get a van or a nice down payment on a van, maybe somebody in my church has good credit. We'll sign it over in their name or get them to co-sign on it or whatever we got to do. And we'll go drive that van. And then I can go pick up Luis and I can go pick up Jorge and we can get our army going and we can go out into these neighborhoods in a little minivan or a little caravan or whatever you want to call it and win the loss, baby. I want to feed these hungry. I want to clothe these naked. So I just want to say to my members, if you know you have it somewhere, God is calling upon you to help with it. If you know you have it, you don't have to bring $250 to Service Friday. You don't have to bring $50 to Service Friday if you don't want to, if you're not led to. But I'm praying that somebody will start seeding money into this ministry. That's how Bishop T.D. Jakes' church grew from a storefront church. He started with less members than me to a mega church. That's how a lot of these other churches that started with 1 and 2 members have now become mega churches because they had strong members like Jorge. They had strong members like Luis. They had strong members like Keith Green who had money put to the side. And they just walked up to the pastor and said, Pastor, here's $1,000. I want you to do something for our church, whatever we need. Just handed it to them. Just put it in their hands. Say, here's $1,000. I want you to do something for the church. And if it was a pastor who was after God's own heart, he did what I'm going to do. He said, what? Here's $1,000. Okay, all right, you'll see the results next week. And you look up and he got a new car coming in, not just a car for himself, but a car that he can use to pick up the people, or a minivan that he can use to pick up the people. Something to enhance the ministry. I want our church on radio. I want us on TV. That's a lot of things we can do. Listen, to the young man who gave $250 last night, let me explain something to you. Our church could be on TV. Listen closely. I have a television station that's been trying to get us to televise our services. Guess how much it costs? $250 per week. So if I had a member who would commit to $250 per week in the offering for 1 month, our church would blow up because all we need is exposure. And the problem is, and the difficulty is, and the challenge is, and we'll work on it, God's going to open the door, is a lot of the people who come to my church are poor. And so it's going to take a few backbone members to carry the church, because I got people who can only give $1 or $2. When you're homeless, you don't have a lot of money. When you're just coming out of prison, you don't have a lot of money. And so if I had a lot of people who had money, that would be different. But they have not come yet. God is going to bring them. Just like God gave us Jorge, just like God gave us Freddie last night, just like God gave us Keith Green last night, just like God gave us Luis Salgado, just like God gave us Shirley Martin, just like God gave us her daughter. God's going to send the people, but in the meantime, I need you all to step up. So listen to me clearly. If you have $1,000 lying around, stashed, you've been holding on to it for a rainy day and all of that, bring it and seed it into the church and watch this church blow up. Because we'll take it and go on TV. We'll take it and buy a minivan. We'll take it and do something that will enhance our services and the people. I love you so much. God bless you. I am Pastor Sherman D. Manning. Keep me in your prayers. I'll see you Friday night. As I said, bring whatever you have. If it's $50, if it's $500, if it's $1,000, if it's $4, help us to enhance the ministry and do the work of God. I love you. God bless you. Heaven smile upon you. Thank you, Jesus.